Hey there, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about getting dirty on the floor. Getting our floor mats dirty. Let me back up a bit. The other day on the JL Wrangler forum, I was commenting on a thread talking about
the case of the disappearing drain plugs.
Well, we solved that mystery, and the next day a rep from 3W Liners reached out. They make floor mats for a bunch of different vehicles and wanted to see if I'd do a review on their Jeep mats. Obviously I agreed, but I did want to be thorough. The best way I could think to test them was to get them covered in mud, then run over them a few times, but we'll get to that in a minute. Right off the bat, I told him I needed 2 sets so I could do a proper evaluation. The boxes showed up in good condition, which is nice. A little bonus, it even has a handle, which makes it easy to grab them off the porch. Let's be real though, we're not buying a box, but the first impression is good. My personal opinion, a company that cares about the details probably also cares about their product. These mats feel soft and flexible, with no chemical smell or oily residue. That's because they're made out of thermoplastic elastomer, or TPE. That's a fancy way of saying it's a mix of plastic and rubber that holds its shape and stays flexible in a broad temperature range, somewhere around -20 and 270 degrees Fahrenheit. These mats have fasteners that engage the little stubs on the floor. The rear mat is a single piece with 3 fasteners on either side. I noticed later that only the forward ones snap into anything in my Jeep. I'm not sure if that's a model year thing or a Gladiator versus Wrangler thing. If anybody knows, drop it in the comments, please. TPE is considered eco-friendly and becoming more common for a bunch of reasons. A couple of big ones are that it has lower manufacturing costs than other materials, and it's easy to recycle. Last but not least, it's safe. They use TPE in all sorts of things, from pacifiers and toothbrushes to toilet plungers and, obviously, floor mats. These new mats fit really well. The snaps that engage the floor posts, they aren't holes like they are on the Mopar mat, so dirt and stuff won't go through. They also don't have the drain plugs, which is a plus in my opinion, although some people might want them. The rear mats go in just like you'd expect. Like I mentioned, only the front snap on each side snaps to a floor post. For the rear floor posts, the mat has a raised bump, so it'll still lay flat. In the way back, the cargo mat just lays across the bottom. At each of the places that line up with the tie downs is some text indicating to cut them out. With a sharp blade, it cut pretty easy, and I managed to keep all my fingers. Next up, we need to go get them dirty. I want to see how they hold up to Texas mud and cleaning. I need to simulate hours upon hours of grinding dirt into the floor mats for it to be a decent comparison. Bear with me as we simulate a couple of years of hard use. In comparison, the set from 3W that includes the cargo mat lists for $210 US, but with current discounts, they're $159. The Mopar lists for $215 and it does not include a cargo mat. You can plan on adding about $150 more if you want that, and I can't say I've ever seen their stuff on sale. Point for 3W. The 3W mats are made in China, where the Mopar mats have been reported to be made in either Mexico or USA. You can see these ones were made in the US, and I was surprised to see they're also made out of TPE. Point for you to decide. The formula must be different though, because 3W mats are softer and more flexible, where the Mopar mats are a bit more plastic feeling. The feel of the material isn't a huge deal, but I think it's a factor in why I can't get the Mopar mats clean. Point for 3W. After the accelerated wear test on the 3W mats, you can see a little surface abrasion. The Mopar mats also show some wear after 3 years of use, but the damage doesn't appear to be as deep. It seems the softer 3W mats are more prone to abrasion damage, but we're probably talking years before it would become an issue. Point for Mopar. The front mats for both have a similar design, with sides that come up about 2 inches to help keep the carpet clean. The design and coverage for both brands' rear mats is also very similar, with one exception. The 3W rear mat is a single piece, compared to Mopar, which uses sort of a button arrangement to connect the 2 sides. The 3W snap fasteners are closed at the top, where the Mopar ones are open, which can let sand and water through. Point for 3W. The Mopar mats have a sort of spout that's intended to let water on your mats drain down through a hole in the floor. The 3W mats don't have a spout, which is my preference, but if this feature is important, I have to give the point to Mopar. Out of everything, my biggest gripe about the Mopar mats is that they're impossible to get clean. Even after the pressure washer and power scrubber, you just can't get rid of the dirty haze. The 3W mats didn't stain, but I can't say for certain that they would never stain. But since I see zero evidence of staining, I've got to give the edge to 3W. The last bullet is whether or not your vehicle's logo is important. It's very possible a significant part of the price difference is due to the branding alone. Like the drain spout, if you want it, you want it, so the point goes to Mopar. So now the verdict. If you intend to use the floor drains or want that Jeep logo, you'll need to spend the extra money and go with Mopar. If country of origin is important, you'll need to check the Mopar ones, and getting a set in your hand to look at might be difficult. If those things aren't a concern, taking them out of consideration shifts things heavily in favor of the 3W mats. Even if the spout or logo are on your wish list, you still need to want it bad enough to justify paying about twice as much. And for some, that's a tough pill to swallow. So if you're in the market for new mats, take a look at 3wliners.com and see if they're a good fit for you. Thanks for watching the video review. I hope it helps you make an informed decision. For me, it was a great excuse to go play in the mud. Take care.